students, I just want to show you a few resources that we have available in VHL Central. For whoever is new to work with VHL Central this semester, I want to show you some things, and especially if you are struggling with VHL Central, I just want to show you how to get to some resources that are going to help you. You are going to see something slightly different because you might be in a different section, but your dashboard should look just like the one that you see over here. Make sure that you see all the due dates on this side, and like I said, for you might look different depending on your specific section. For this section, as you can see, we have assignments due on Tuesday and Friday, so just make sure that you look at the right dates on your specific dashboard. But you're going to see due dates over here, all due dates coming up, and previous due dates over here. If you have something that you need to work on from previous due dates, you can always go turn in that work. And I always, if you send me an email, I'm going to consider if I'm going to remove the penalty or not. Usually it has a 25% penalty, but sometimes I consider depending on when you send it and all of those things. So make sure that you send me an email, and I will consider if I will remove the penalty sometime. So just make sure that you communicate with me. Going back to the due dates that are coming up, you're going to see a start button here, and you're going to see how many activities you have and how many or how much of that you have completed. Now in here it says 10 activities, but some activities within might have some sections, so keep an eye on that, because that can make things complicated if you don't pay attention to all the sections of one specific activity. Before we get into those activities, I want to show you over here also the tabs that are important in your dashboard, which is, well, the course, which is going to give you bring you to the main dashboard, the content, and in here you're going to be able to go to the activities, all the activities you have available at VHL Central. If you want to even have more practice, you're going to be able to see that you can go over here and see what it has been assigned. But that doesn't really, I don't really recommend you to go there. It doesn't have to do a lot with our course. Then you're going to see assessments. Something is going to be looking like this because I have not assigned tests yet coming up, so you're not really going to find anything for our course there yet. Now I do want you to look at the resources tab over here. The resources tab is going to bring you to all of the grammar slides that I use in my mini lectures or lectures in class, face-to-face. I always use these, and if you click in there, you're going to see that you will have PowerPoint available for you with the presentations that I always use. I always make these materials available back in Blackboard, but if you want to find them in VHL Central, here is the way, and you're going to find all topics explained in these PowerPoint presentations. You also have additional vocabulary, and it is going to open up another sheet with vocabulary that is going to be important for the unit. So you can also go in there and look at this vocab if you want additional vocabulary. And practice activities, this is important. And if you want to practice on your own, sometimes I make this available to you during class, but if we don't meet for classes, this is something you want to look at that is going to help you check how much you are progressing with these topics. You can print them, you can download this and make sure that you can answer on your computer. If you're able to have a PDF editor on your computer, you can also do that as well. So that was for the content tab. Let's make this a little bit bigger so you're able to see all of those tabs. You also have that was the resources. You also have the vocabulary tools. I have explained this one before. You're going to access over here all the lessons, and once you click in the lesson that you're interested, you are going to find a list of words. You can play with these ones. You can, just go ahead and practice the ones that you want. And you can also use the flashcards that are going to help you navigate through that new vocabulary, and is going to present you with the pronunciation. And if you flip it, you're going to be able to see the English word for that. And then you can say, I know it or not yet. And then if you say, I know it, it's going to take it off the deck. And if you say, not yet, it's going to shuffle it back. And finally, in that content tab, you have the e-companion, and that is your book. So every time that you want to go look at your book, you can select over here the lesson that you want, lesson 1, lesson 5, lesson 8, lesson 10, whatever lesson you want, and you're going to be able to access your book. If you want to look at the vocabulary tools in here, at the vocabulary list, you should go all the way at the end, and you're going to see the vocabulary for that unit. You're also able to print it from here, and you know the drill once it's giving you the option to print. You can also look at the topics in here, how they are explained over here. The very first topic, for example, in unit 1 is nouns and articles. It is going to explain you here, and you can flip the page and it is going to keep going. This is the same information as the one available in those grammar slides, but this is with more detail and in the book format. So if you prefer to do so, you can always do that. You can always print the page as well. Let's go to lesson 7, for example. You want to look at the book, and then you can flip the page, look at the vocabulary, look at the structures that you are studying in lesson 6, and so on. So you always have these available for you. If you want to practice some of that stuff that you have just learned, and you can click in that, and it is going to take you to specific activities in VHL Central that you can also try. And as you can see, you see that over here that is linked to what we just read. So we are talking about the e-companion, which is your book. You also have a calendar over here where you can see when you have activities or assignments due. So you can look over here. This particular one is January, and like I said, it might look different for your specific section, but you can go to the calendar tab and look at how the month is looking for you. For example, in here there is a quiz on the 28th. There's also practice activities during these Tuesdays and Fridays, and you see a rough estimate on how long this is going to take you. If it's taking you way more than this, please let me know so I work with you, because this is not supposed to take more than the time over here. Finally, you can go to the Gradebook, to the grades and the Gradebook, and look at your own progress. This is a sample student. I just created this student. Of course, it doesn't have anything done. I just created it for this video, but you can see how many assignments have been assigned, how many this student has submitted on time, how many I have accepted late in case that you have submitted anything late, and the ones that you have not submitted at all are going to be also here. So these are the reports I look at every lesson whenever I update the grades in Blackboard. So all of your grades for VHL Central, practice, quizzes, and mostly lesson tests as well, and the final for some of you are going to come from VHL Central. So keep an eye on those due dates, and let me know if you have any questions. In communication, I sometimes post announcements here, but most of the time I only post announcements on Blackboard, just not to have you back and forth with the information necessary for our class. Usually I post only in Blackboard, and sometimes I send that announcement through your email as well, but I limit the times that I use the announcements in VHL Central. So going back to the dashboard, you're going to see all of those due dates. I recommend you to keep an eye over here as well. Now remember, this is not your course grade. This is only the grades that you have available from VHL Central, from the practice, but this is not your course grade. Just keep an eye on those because it is still important. Of course, out of the percentage coming from VHL Central, you still need to have 100% of this part of your course grade. Going back to the dashboard, if you click over here, Start, it is going to bring you to the assignments that we need to complete for that specific date. Okay, so over here you can see the due date. Now over here you're going to have an assignment list. You can see that you have all of these assignments due by January 21st. So make sure that you complete all of these. Now this can be a little bit tricky because each of these is going to get a check mark only if you have completed all the sections on that assignment. And I'm going to walk you through that. So let's close this for now. And over here you can see that there are 2 sections. So make sure that you complete the video and that you complete also the next section. So there is a tutorial. Let's start. Let's watch the video, and for now I'm going to forward everything so we don't have to listen to all of it, but obviously the explanation in here is important, and in all tutorials video the information is important. So let's skip to the next activity. Now many of you stay here and don't get through the next section, so that is why it's not marking your activity completed, because you still need to complete some of it. So let's keep going for now. Let's try to go to the next activity. All right, so now it's taking me to all of these little sections, and this is where you have to pay attention, because if you don't complete all of these sections that are grayed out, you are not going to be marked as you have completed that activity. So let's use the manual mode and get started. So you're going to, for now, I'm going to silence this. So we're going to go through all of these, and you have to make sure that every single section is completed. So you can see over here, if you say next activity, it is only going to take you to the next assignment. It is not going to take you to the next section of that. That is why, see, as you can see, if I go back, I didn't complete any of these. That is why it's not going to mark me as I have completed that assignment. If you have any questions, you can always look for more information over here. It is going to tell you more information about the assignment. You can always go to the dictionary over here, and it's going to take you to a dictionary that is another website, which is called Word Reference. You can always use that, and you can always go to your book, and it is going to open up on the lesson that you have been studying. But if you don't know what page, it is indicating you in here what pages I need. If it doesn't open in the right page, go to page 16, and that is going to be over here. And as you can see, it is the numbers. So make sure that you go through all of this section, use the manual mode, and if you see the speech recognition, turn it off, because sometimes that brings you issues. Another thing I want to show you is, as your instructor, you can always choose the one that is giving you issues, and then you can also ask me where is the issue that you see. So over here you can send me a message, whatever message, submit, and I will see it on my end. So make sure you use those resources to better navigate in VHL Central.